Hi, I'm Miriam, your friendly neighborhood librarian, and this is Off the Shelf, your inside look at the Wayne County Public Library. Today we have a great show with a new staff picks, an upcycling with Arlene, and a library in the community. So let's get started. Here's our new staff picks.
Hi, welcome to this time's staff pick. We're glad you could join us. Hi, I'm Kimberly, and I am from Reference and Teen Services.
Hi, I'm Katie, and I'm from the Circulation Department.
I am Susan. I'm the Assistant Library Director.
I'm Michael from the Circulation Department.
Do you like Doctor Who or Firefly or even Guardians of the Galaxy? Then you owe it to yourself to read this book called Invictus. It's a wonderful teen science fiction book that takes place all through time and place. We have a wonderful group of characters. Our main character's name is Faraway, and he starts out going to what is an officially a school for time travelers. He flunks out. So he ends up being a smuggler of his own ship, and what they do is they go through time and steal artifacts from different time places and bring them back to be sold to private investors. Well, something goes wrong when he's doing a trip to the Titanic. He meets this mysterious woman, and she is going to end up blackmailing the crew. What for? Why? Well, you'll have to read the book to find out. This book is so much fun. It has some wonderful crew members. There's a cousin named Imogen who dyes her hair a different color all the time with chalk. There's Saffron, a wonderful red panda who is so cute you just want to cuddle him. Graham, the genius engineer who collects Rubik's Cubes. And Priya, kind medic who makes tea for everyone. I suggest this book highly.
Okay. So Kimberly, how does it compare with other time traveling books you've read?
Well, I've read Connie Willis's time travel, and this book is a little lighter and a lot more fun. Okay, it's a little less serious. Yeah. I just found out that this book is in the 25 finalists for the top 10 teen book for the year.
Oh, wow.
So that's exciting.
Yeah. I'm bringing a book called Every Heart a Doorway. There are times when all of us would like to go someplace else to escape from this world. Well, in Shannon McGuire's Every Heart a Doorway, you can do exactly that. It starts out at Eleanor West's Home for Wayward Children, and all of the teens who are at this school are there because their parents think something's wrong with them. They're delusional, they're crazy, they're troubled. But really what's happened is all of them have found doorways to a different world. And then they've lived in those different worlds maybe for some months, maybe some of them for years, and then they've been kicked out. So they're all looking for their door back to their worlds. And they're troubled. They're not crazy. They are wayward because they've lost their way. Each world's different. Some of the worlds are all rainbows and candy and flowers. Some of them are very dark. Some of them are very quiet, some of them are musical, some of them are nonsense worlds like Alice in Wonderland, and some of them even seem evil, or very, very dark. They are unique, but so are the people who find these worlds. The story begins when Nancy comes to the school. She has been in a world called the Halls of the Dead, and it was a very quiet, a very still world, very dark, very cool, and she loves it. But she is asked by the Lord of the Dead, who rules it, to come back to Earth to make sure she really wants to stay in the Halls of the Dead. And so now she finds herself, after years away in the Halls of the Dead, being quiet in this very noisy, vibrant, colorful world. And she's having a miserable time. She tentatively begins to make friends at the school. There's Christopher, who has left the skeleton world. There's the twins, Jack and Jill, whose world was a vampire and a mad scientist. There's her roommate, Sumi, whose world was all color and chaos and craziness. And she starts to feel comfortable, and then somebody's murdered. And it's followed by 2 more murders. And Nancy, as the newest person in the school, and also the one who's been to the dead, is the main suspect. The mystery is the plot. What I really liked about this book so much were the characters and the setting and the whole idea that everybody's got a world if you could just find it. I found myself wondering what kind of world I might go to, looking around for a doorway to see if I could find one. This is the first in a series that Shannon McGuire is doing called The Wayward Children. Her next one is Down Among the Sticks and Bones, which talks about Jack and Jill in the world of the mad scientists and the vampire king. So, if you've ever wanted to escape, this is a good way to go.
So you said they go into different doorways and different worlds. What's your favorite world that you'd like to live in?
I don't know if I'd like to live in it, but the way they describe Nancy's Hall of the Dead is fascinating because you'd think it would be somber, and she keeps emphasizing how beautiful it is and how just quiet and peaceful, and everybody speaks softly and moves like they're graceful. I don't know. It reminded me like an underwater ballet or something. I just would like to see it. I thought she did a good job of giving you an idea about a world that wouldn't necessarily be something you'd think you'd want to go to.
My book for staff picks is American Gods by Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman is my most favorite author. Every book that I pick up by him always has some sort of creativity and some sort of new, weird, kooky thing that just entertains me. American Gods is my favorite because it explores the realms of urban myth in America as Shadow Moon and Wednesday traverse across the United States. The plot goes that Shadow Moon comes out of jail and for reasons that I don't want to spoil, he meets up with Wednesday and makes a deal with him and becomes his bodyguard. But there is a second side to Wednesday that anyone studying Norse mythology would know. Eventually in the book it's revealed. And as he takes this adventure on with Wednesday, he meets different gods and different mythological beings ranging from Native American, American mythology to Egyptian mythology and Norse mythology. And not only is this a very entertaining and colorful and various amount of different stories interlocking with the main plot line. It has interweaving plot lines that show Neil Gaiman's richness and intellect and knowledge about mythology. And anyone who likes mythology or likes learning about America and American history, or just likes a plain adventure mixed with some supernatural occurrences, would really love this book.
Katie, which character in the book was your favorite?
That is very easy. Mine is Matt Sweeney. He is a delightful leprechaun, but not the kind that you would think. He's very tall and he does coin tricks. And just my favorite thing about him is his personality. And he's very, well, let's just say it's not for kids. He has a very direct, strong language, as you would expect with someone from Ireland.
Hi, I'm talking about Hetty Green. My first experience with Hetty Green was back in 8th grade history, about 1970. There was a picture of her in my history book in a somber black outfit. They called her the Witch of Wall Street and said that when she died she was worth about at least $100 million. I was captivated. There are 2 biographies in the 21st century about her. One, The Richest Woman in America, Hetty Green in the Gilded Age by Janet Wallich. And the other is Hetty, The Genius and Madness of America's First Female Tycoon by Charles Slack. They're both similar in many ways. Hetty came from a wealthy family in the whale business. And starting about the age of 6, as soon as she learned to read, she had to read the financial section of the paper to her grandfather and later to her father as their vision failed. So she got an early start in finance. After the death of Russell Sage, she became New York City's leading financier. In fact, on several occasions, she bought bonds to the sum of $1 million or more in order to finance the city, the entire allotment of bonds. She wanted her children to become the richest children in America when she died, which did not happen, but she left them between $100 and $200 million. She did not, while most millionaires lived a life of extravagance and built mansions that neither they nor their heirs could afford, she lived a frugal, some would say, miserly life. She never lived in one place for very long because she did not want to set up a residence that would cause her to be taxed in a state. And she was largely successful in that. Vermont ended up getting the largest share of the inheritance tax, which was, I'm thinking, $25,000 or so, a very small amount. She had 2 children, Ned and Sylvie. Neither one produced children. After Ned died, the inheritance went to Sylvie, and then when she died, it was donated to a large number of colleges and other charitable institutions, including a library. Hetty lived among the common people. One probably apocryphal tale is that an English member of the English peerage visited her farm and complained that her cow had chased him. Not getting the apologetic look that he was expecting, he told her his title, and she replied, "Tell that to the cow."
So what was Hetty's financial formula for success?
It was pretty simple, really. Here's a couple of quotes from her. "When good things are so low that no one wants them, I buy them and lay them away in the safe. When owing to some new development, they go up and my shares are so needed that men will pay well for them, I am ready to sell." And she says, "I am always buying when everyone wants to sell and selling when everyone wants to buy." Unfortunately, most people buy high and sell low, which is not a formula for financial success.
Thank you for joining us today for Staff Picks. If you're interested in any of these books, you can find them at our libraries or at in the CleveNet system, or you can look for them on Hoopla, Flipster, or Overdrive. Thanks again for being with us.
Here's an I Love My Library video of a patron telling you how much they love the library.
I love the Preston Library. Wonderful books. Everything is new, and there's a great variety for everyone. The staff are very helpful, and it's just a great place for the kids, especially my grandkids, to come and play. And just a wonderful time is always enjoyed by them when we come to the Preston Library. It's a great place to be.
Next up, we have our Library in the Community segment. Ria is going to explain for you Crafting for a Cause, New Life for Old Bags program.
Good morning, I'm Ria Schmally. I came here to show you how to make the mats that the library has shown me. There are a few basic tools that you need. Number one, you need bags. Lots and lots of bags. I figure it takes about 500, between 450 and 500 to make one mat. You need a crochet hook. This is a cute crochet hook, big one. You need a pair of scissors, and you need a yardstick. Lots of easy, simple materials. You get your bags. You need to straighten them out, flatten them out, fold it over once, fold it over twice, cut off the handles, cut off the bottom seam, and then unfortunately we don't have use for these yet, they become trash. Then you fold this in half, cut it, fold it in half again. Not all of your bags are the same size, so when you're cutting your strips, you make them about 3 inches. That's step one. At home I will sit and cut for a couple of hours and just cut, and come up with a box full of cut slices. Then you open them up. This is step number 2. I open up a bunch of them. You take 2 of them, intertwine them together, and you make a knot. You put this one through, intertwine it together, You make another knot. And you just keep doing this, and doing this, and doing this. I do it till I have a big pile down on my chair. And when I have the big piles on my chair, I will take and wind them around my fingers, just like we used to do a long time ago when we had to roll the hanks of yarn. And you just keep rolling and rolling until it's all rolled up. That is step number 2. Now comes the fun part. This is a big ball of different colors that I have rolled at home, and I'm working on this particular mat. When you start, you will chain across about 40 to 45 stitches. You need to make it 36 inches wide. There comes the yardstick. And I will have this to be, oops, it will be 36 inches wide. Then all you do is single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, and more. All of the knots that you have made when you looped it together just work themselves right into the mat. This one here is going to be a very colorful one. We've now worked our way across to the end of the row. When you get to the end, do one chain stitch, then you turn your mat around, and you work your way back. You're going to skip the first stitch, and then you're going to single crochet in each of these all the way back across. And you just keep doing the single crochet as you go. And when you're done, you're going to end up with a beautiful mat. This one is a really good, colorful one. The people who collect these, they go to the library, who give them to a group in Akron called Snow Angels, and they use them for the homeless people. They request them to be 36 inches wide and 6 feet long because of the tall people. After you make your mat, you need to make a strap because they put the strap around it, and then they can carry it with the strap when they move from one of their homes to another home. I have done craft work all of my life, all different kinds of craft work, and I've been interested in this for a long time. Last spring, a friend told me that the library was doing a class on it. So I came, and I loved it. I took it home and I started, and that was in May. They didn't have any classes over the summer, so when I came back in September, I think I had 7 of them done right then. I brought 4 with me today, all different colors. You just use whatever bag you get. It doesn't matter what size it is, yes it is. You don't want the little bags from newspaper wrappers. Those are just way too tiny. You need the regular bags like you get from Save-A-Lot, Bueller's, Giant Eagle, anything. The more colorful, the different the bag comes out. Thank you very much. I would like to thank Jeannie in the adult section of the library for running this class and showing us how to make these mats. For those of you not real familiar with the library and their activities, there are lots and lots of them, all ranges of things that you can do. Be sure to check it out.
Next is Upcycling with Arlene, with special guest Jeannie, and they're both going to show you how to make seed paper from recycled paper, which is biodegradable and you can plant it in your very own garden.
Hi, my name's Arlene.
And I'm Jeannie.
And we're going to show you today how to make seed paper. Now, what is seed paper, you might ask? It is recycled paper that is then made into another piece of paper that is embedded with seeds so that you can plant it and have plants grow. They can be flowers, or we had talked about vegetables, like if you want to do lettuce or something like that. So that's what we're going to show you how to make today. Some of the things that you'll need. You will need, first off, you're going to need some shredded paper. Now this is paper that we didn't want anymore, so we're recycling it. We ran it through a shredder, and if you don't have a shredder, you can just cut it into small pieces, and then you soak it overnight in water. You will also need a blender, some food coloring if you want to make colored seed paper, a bowl and a spoon, and then a screen. Now this is a screen from my Breezeway. If you don't have a screen like that you can use, you can maybe buy some screen material at a Home Depot or a Lowe's or a hardware store and staple it to an old picture frame, a large picture frame that you don't want to use anymore. And you'll get sort of the same effect. You just want to have it so you can get the water out of the seed paper, and then lay that on a towel, an old towel. And then you also need seeds to put in the paper. So,
okay, so we have our paper that's soaking in water. The first thing that you do, and this is really kind of fun, you take your paper and you put it in your blender. This is a really old blender, but you don't want to put too much in there so that it would cause your blender to stop running. I think that's enough?
that looks good.
Okay, and then we're going to cover that with water. Okay, and we added some food color to our seed paper. This was red food coloring. It turned out a really nice kind of rosy pink color when it was finished. So we're going to add some blue to this, and maybe about 10 drops of, okay. Don't forget to put your lid on. Okay, and then we're going to turn it on. Okay, does that look about the right consistency? Okay, and then we're going to pour it in this bowl. It's a really nice blue.
Now it's very wet, and if you have too much water, you can always try and strain some of that out using a colander or a strainer, or like a piece of cheesecloth or an old tea towel if you want to. You can just put it in there and squeeze a little, but you do want it somewhat wet. So we have our pulp mixture, that's the paper, and then we're just going to take some seeds and mix them in. And these are hummingbird and butterfly seeds. So I'm not exactly sure what flowers will come up, but they should attract some hummingbirds and butterflies to our yards. So we're just going to mix some of those in and just kind of mix it in with your hand, or if you don't like using it, it's kind of a strange consistency, so if it bothers you, you can use a spoon to mix it in. And it's that easy. And then what you do is you take your cookie cutter and you place it on the screen and just grab a little blob of the pulp and start pushing it into the cookie cutter against the screen. Now the nice thing is having a towel underneath will absorb a lot of that excess water. Okay, so once you've got it all pushed down and a lot of the water's kind of pushed out of it, you just kind of push against the seed paper and lift the cookie cutter up, and you can go on and do your next one. Grab another amount of pulp. Now I think this would be a lot of fun, or a very fun project for kids to do.
Absolutely.
I think it would be fun for them to make the seed paper, and then I think it would be exceptional fun for them to plant the seed paper and see what kind of flowers.
Yes, this is fun for kids of all ages. And it's really fun to use the cookie cutters. Arlene's using the heart, which has a nice open space, so it's easy to pack. Mine's the butterfly shape, so it's a little harder because you need to fill the wings, and you got some nooks and crannies here. Also, the first batch that we did, we just did those free form, and we patted them out. Some of them were circular, some of them we shaped into heart shapes, and that's really fun too. But we kind of like using the cookie cutters.
I was thinking of reasons why you might make seed paper, and I think it would be fun to do this with Christmas cookie cutters. and make Christmas ornaments out of them, and then you could give them away, and then in the spring, your loved ones could plant them outside, and then they would have a little reminder every time they went outside of the Christmas that you spent together.
Yes, that's a wonderful idea. We made these here at the library for our Earth Day and Earth Week celebration, and Arlene suggested that we do this so that we could have a little gift to give to patrons, and that went over really, really well, and folks were really excited about taking a seed paper, and they were excited about planting too.
It might be a fun project to do also, like for Mother's Day, to give to your moms and grandmothers. Give them a little something that they can plant and think of you every time they see it.
Yes, I think it'd be a very thoughtful gift.
I thought it might be fun, so you could put like lettuce seeds in them, and then you could make an edible seed paper. I mean, not the seed paper itself would be edible, but the plants would be edible.
Yes, that's a great idea.
Let's see. So what you do is you do that on the screen, and one of the reasons you do it on a screen is partly because you can squeeze some of the water out as you're doing it, but you can also then set it up, have a fan on it, and that way air circulates above it and below it, and they'll dry quicker, because you do want these to dry fairly quickly, like within a day's time, because you don't want the seeds to sprout while it's still not dry yet. We want them to sprout after they've been planted. So that's how you make seed paper. Now what we did was we took one of our first ones that we made, and we went ahead and planted it to see how it worked. And we do have some sprouts coming up. So I think this pot is ready for your patio, Jeannie.
I think so too. And this really is a great project for kids. It's a quick turnaround. Once you plant your seed paper, they're going to sprout within about a week. So the little ones wouldn't have to wait too long to see the efforts of their project realized.
So is there anything else being asked?
Oh, yes. I want to tell folks who are watching about our Tuesday Crafternoon program. That is Tuesday, June 5th. And what we're going to be making at that time, and Arlene and I are both wearing these, this is called a Camden Cuff bracelet. And it's very easy to make. It's basic crochet skills. So if that's something that you're interested in, we hope you'll join us for that. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Here's an inside look at what our Kids Day is going to be like on Saturday, June 2nd.
Hello, my name is Nick Starr. I'm a children's librarian here at the main branch of the Wayne County Public Library System. Talking to you today about Kids Day. Kids Day will be Saturday, June 2nd from 1 to 4 p.m. and it'll be hosted here at the library. So some of it will be out in the parking lot, some of it will be out here on the front lawn and just kind of wrapped around the building. And that'll be from 1 to 4 o'clock p.m. that day. And the Kids Day is an annual event that we host in partnership with Main Street Worcester and other local organizations that help sponsor and bring all the fun activities to us. Always have a really good attendance. Last year we had about 3,000 kids show up, so it's always good to have large groups coming, and hopefully we'll keep with that this year. When you come, there's going to be, again, things all around downtown here. So we usually have bouncy house, the therapy dogs are in a couple spots. There's always games and crafts that you can make. There's going to be a hockey shoot. There's normally music and food. So just come on down with your families. It'll be a great time. And if you get too bored outside or the weather's too much like it is today, which hopefully won't be, then you can always come into the library. We'll have plenty of things going on inside, such as, the games and stuff we have in here, and summer reading club will be starting at that point too. So again, Kids Day is June 2nd from 1 to 4 p.m. So come on by.